Hello and welcome to the first session on Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and rules thereunder 1945. I, Mr. Patil Pradeep, will be discussing about objectives, definitions and schedules to this act in the first session. This act was passed on 10th April 1940 with the main objective to regulate the import, manufacture, distribution and sale of drug and cosmetic. It had been observed that many spurious drugs and substandard quality drugs were introduced into the market during importation or even during manufacture. This act aims to regulate and keep a control over these things. This can be done by granting licenses to qualified persons. Also, it can be ensured that the sale of the drugs and cosmetics will be done by a qualified person only. Nowadays, even cosmetics have been adulterated and even substandard quality products are being introduced into the market. The Act aims to keep a control over such things. This Act, along with the drugs and cosmetics, also aims to make certain provisions related to manufacturing, distribution, and sale of Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic drugs. The Act also provides for establishment of Drug Technical Advisory Board, that is DTAB, to advise government on technical matters arising out of the administration of the Act, and Drug Consultative Committee to advise the board and government to secure uniformity in administration of the Act throughout India. There are various schedules to this Act. I would be discussing each schedule in detail, and at the end of this session, I would also be giving you a trick to memorize these schedules and which will be beneficial for the students during their exams. So, beginning with the first schedule, that is Schedule E, it gives details about list of forms used for making applications, for issuing licenses, granting licenses, sending memorandums. B. Fees for test or analysis by Central Drug Laboratory or government analyst. C. Biological and special products, specifically injectables. Example, insulin, adrenaline, parenteral products like penicillin, streptomycin. C1. Biological non-parenteral products. Example, digitalis, fish liver oil, non-parenteral products like hormones, vaccines, etc. Schedule D. Classes of drugs that are exempted from provisions of import. E1. List of Ayurvedic, Siddha and Unani poisonous substances. F. Provisions applicable to blood bank requirements and licensing to process blood components. F1. Provisions applicable to vaccines, antisera and diagnostic agents. F2. Standard for surgical dressings. F3. Standard for umbilical tapes. FF. Standard for ophthalmic preparations. Now, the various tricks that can be used for memorizing these are: for Schedule A, forms; B, fees; C, biological parenterals; C1, biological non-parenterals; D, exempted import; E1, ASU, poisonous; F, blood bank; F1, diagnostic; F2, surgical; F3, umbilical tapes; FF, ophthalmic. Schedule G, list of substances required to be taken only under supervision of a registered medical practitioner. Example, aminopterin, chlorambucil, chlorpropamide. H, prescription drugs which are required to be sold only on prescription of a registered medical practitioner. Example, analgin, lorazepam, dapsone. J. List of diseases and ailments which a drug may not claim to prevent or cure. Diseases as cancer, diabetes, and blindness cannot be claimed to be cured. K. List of drugs exempted from certain provisions applicable to manufacture of drug and sale of drugs. M. Good manufacturing practices and requirements of factory premises, plant equipments, etc. for manufacturing of drugs. M1. Requirement of factory premises, plant equipments for manufacturing of homeopathic drugs. M2. Requirements of factory premises, plant equipments for manufacturing of cosmetics. M3. Requirements of factory premises for manufacturing of medicinal devices. Trick to memorize these: G. RMP supervision. RMP stands for Registered Medical Practitioner. H. RMP prescription. J. Diseases. K. Exempted manufacture. M. GMP drugs. M1. GMP homeopathic. M2. GMP cosmetic. M3. Medicinal devices. Schedule N. List of minimum equipments for efficient running of pharmacy. O. Standards for disinfectant fluids like phenol. P. Life period of drugs. P1. Pack size of drugs. Q. List of coal tar colors permitted to be used in cosmetic and list of colors permitted to be used in drugs. R. Standard for condoms made up of rubber latex intended for single use. R1. Standard for medical devices. S. Standard for cosmetics. T. Requirements for factory premises and hygienic conditions for manufacture of Ayurvedic, including Siddha and Unani drugs. Trick to memorize these: N. Equipments for pharmacy. O. Disinfectant. You can also keep in mind that in phenol you are having an O. O stands for disinfectant. P. Life period. P1. Pack size. Q. Now just see that the way I am saying coal tar colors, it is coal tar colors. That is Q for colors. That is coal tar colors can be memorized. R. Condoms. R1. Medicinal devices. S. Cosmetics. T. GMP ASU. That is Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani. Schedule U. Particulars to be shown in manufacturing and analytical records of drug. U1. Particulars to be shown in manufacturing of cosmetics. V. Standard for patent and proprietary medicines and medicines containing vitamins. W. List of drugs which can be marketed under generic name. List of habit-forming, psychotropic and other such substances can be kept under Schedule X. Y. Requirements and guidelines on clinical trials for import of manufacture of new drugs. Trick to memorize these: U. Analytical records drug. U1. Analytical records cosmetic. V stands for victory, that is patent. W. Double V. It looks like double V. So drugs that are into the market under generic name can be utilized. X. Habit forming. Why? Why? Why you are using these drugs, or why this drug needs to be introduced into the market? The basic reason: you can give a proof of clinical trials. Why will be clinical trials in this case? We would be starting with the definitions. The first definition is drug. All medicines for internal or external use of human beings or animals. All substances intended to be used for the diagnostic, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of any disease or disorder in human beings or animals, including preparations applied on human body for the purpose of repelling insects like mosquito. Such substances other than food intended to affect the structure or any function of the human body or intended to be used for destruction of vermin or insects which can cause disease in human beings or animals. All substances intended for use as a component of a drug, including empty gelatin capsules. Such devices intended for internal or external use in diagnostic, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of disease or disorder in human beings or animals. Ayurvedic, Siddha, or Unani drugs. It includes all medicines for internal or external use of human beings or animals, and all substances intended to be used for or in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of any disease or disorder in human beings or animals, and manufactured in accordance with the formula described in authoritative books of Ayurvedic, Siddha, or Unani system of medicines, specified in first schedule. Cosmetic: any article intended to be rubbed, poured, sprinkled, or sprayed on, or introduced into, or otherwise applied to human body for cleansing, beautifying, promoting attractiveness, or altering the appearance, and includes any article intended for use as a component of cosmetic. New drug. A new substance of chemical, biological, or biotechnological origin, in bulk or prepared dosage form, used for prevention, diagnosis, or treatment of disease in man or animals, which except during clinical trials has not been used in the country to any significant extent, and which except during local clinical trials has not been recognized in the country as effective and safe for proposed claim. A drug already approved by licensing authorities for certain claims, which is now proposed to be marketed with modified or new claims, namely indications, dosage forms, including sustained release dosage form, and route of administration. A fixed dose combination of two or more drugs individually approved earlier for certain claims, which are now proposed to be combined for the first time in a ratio, or if the ratio of the ingredients in an already marketed combination is proposed to be changed with certain claims, with indications, dosage form, including sustained release dosage form and route of administration. मिसब्रांडेड ड्रग्स. अभी मिसब्रांडेड ड्रग्स ये होते हैं जिनमें कोई तरह से अलग टाइप की ब्रांडिंग की गई हो. ये ड्रग्स एक्चुअल आपके ओरिजिनल ड्रग्स नहीं रहते, इनमें कोई झूठे क्लेम्स किए जाते हैं, कोई अलग कलर्स और कोटिंग की जाती है जिससे वो अच्छे वैल्यू के दिखे. सी, आई वुड बी टेलिंग द डेफिनेशन. Misbranded drugs would be considered if it is so colored, coated, powdered, or polished that the damage is concealed, or if it is made to appear of better or greater therapeutic value than it really is, or if it is not labeled in a prescribed manner. If its label or container or anything accompanying the drug bears statement, design, or devices which make any false claim for the drug, or which is false or misleading in particular. Misbranded cosmetic. Cosmetic भी उसी प्रकार से होंगे. It contains a color which is not prescribed, it is not labeled in prescribed manner, or the label or container or anything accompanying the cosmetic makes any false claim or misleading claims. Spurious drugs. अभी ये ड्रग्स जो होते हैं वो अलग नाम से इंपोर्ट किए जाते हैं और ऐसी कंपनी ने बनाए जाते हैं जिनका कोई अस्तित्व ही नहीं रहता. Spurious drugs are if it is imported under the name which belongs to another drug, if it is an imitation of or a substitute for another drug, or resembles another drug in a manner likely to deceive यानी दिशा भूल करना, or bears upon any upon it or upon its label or container the name of another drug, unless it is plainly and conspicuously marked so as to reveal its true character and its lack of identity with such other drug. If the label or the container bears the name of an individual or a company purporting to be the manufacturer of drug, which individual or company is fictitious, jhuti, or does not exist, if it has been substituted wholly or in part by another drug or substance, if it purports to be the product of a manufacturer of whom it is not truly a product. Spurious cosmetic. If it is imported under the name which belongs to another cosmetic, or if it is an imitation or a substitute for another cosmetic, or resembles another cosmetic in a manner likely to deceive or bear upon it or upon its label or container the name of another cosmetic, unless it is plainly and conspicuously marked so as to reveal its true character and the lack of identity with such other, or if the label or container bears the name of an individual or company purporting to be the manufacturer of the cosmetic, which individual company is fictitious or does not exist, or if it purports to be the product of a manufacturer of whom it actually is not a product.